Hey guys, it's Jared. Welcome back to Awaited Copper. I got a good one today because, like Dan from My Legend, I got a good one for you today. But really, I got Polymarket's coming online in the United States, and the excitement is over the top, but it's only going to grow. And I've got some screenshots of tweets here. 2 from me from back in June, and then 8 others I found in the last couple of days. As the excitement grows, everybody's going to be like, what is Polymarket? What is Polymarket? It's a good question. It's very exciting stuff. And what's it got to do with copper, right? Well, Polymarket merged with Twitter, and that was in June, which is what got me really excited about it. It's been a thing for a while, a couple of years, several years, but I really took a notice about maybe about a year ago, 9 months ago or so, around the election time. Dang, time flies, doesn't it? Anyways, it merged with Twitter. And Twitter, I've always believed and known, Twitter's a search engine primarily. It's a news source, breaking news source. So everything happens on Twitter. If you want to know about any subject in real time, search on Twitter. Well, that information can be factored into the markets. And that's where Polymarket comes in. Polymarket is a future market. It's a prediction market. And that sounds kind of strange, but we'll get into what that really means. And I'm sure things are going to evolve how people use it, but right now let's get into it. Back in June I said, can you place a Polymarket bet directly on Twitter? If so, you can bet and then tweet memes to manipulate public opinion to shape the outcome and profit. And I think you're going to see a lot of that, people placing bets and then trying to manipulate public opinion to come around so they can profit off of that. And I don't think that's speculation. I think it's going to be a reality. I also said, this was back in June, I just joined Polymarket. I'm not into gambling, but I am into innovative ways of talking shit. And setting bets that ridicule my opponents is a fantastic way to lose a few bucks. And what do I mean by that? I'm against the importation of foreign labor into the local markets, taking jobs. And so Branson does a lot of that. They recruit from third world countries to come and work local jobs. Silver Dollar City does that, and so why? Why aren't those jobs going to locals? So you can place a bet, will Silver Dollar City import 10,000 third world foreign workers to Branson by next July? And you're calling out, you're making fun of them in such a way that everybody points a finger at what they're really doing, highlights what they're really doing. You can use it as like a kind of a way to talk trash about, political situations. All right, now let's get into what other people are saying here. Chris Leatherman says, I have a friend who works for the government. A few days ago, he called me personally asking what the Polymarket odds were of the government shutting down this week. He didn't want to spend time researching and learning the ins and outs of why this is happening, and that's okay. He just wanted to know if he needs to prepare. Polymarket predictions supplied that. Sooner than you think, I predict we'll be saying check the Polymarkets in tandem with just Google it. That's what's really going to happen. It's going to shape public opinion. People are going to go search for what the consensus is. It reminds me of Malcolm Gladwell's book, The Tipping Point. I think it was a piece from The Tipping Point. Remember the thought experiment was there's a giant gumball machine. You know the giant gumball machines that were at the mall? Huge ones. If we were to see one of those gumball machines, you and I were to say, hey, how many gumballs do you think is in there? And you would say, I don't know. You'd give me a number, and then I'd say, well, I think it's this number. Well, you'd be very wrong, and I'd be very wrong. But if we got a bunch of people, I don't know, 1,000, 5,000, I don't know the number, but if we got a bunch of people together and we took all their numbers, their guesses, and we averaged them out, guess what? That'd be spot on, the number of gumballs in that machine. And so that's what's happening here in Polymarket. A bunch of people coming onto a bet, it averages out to, this is really what the zeitgeist is. This is really what's going to happen. And so that's exciting. And somebody called out Chris and said that never happened. And he provided the receipts. He provided the proof that did happen. Now, I know that's easy to fake. You can fake that pretty easily, but it doesn't matter because the sentiment is true. What's happening in the future, you're going to be checking Polymarket. Polymarket isn't just a gambling site. And sure it is. And a lot of the users, all of the users will be gambling, though some to a more speculative degree than others. But what it really is, what Polymarket's main business is information of the future. it is a news source, which that's why pairing it with Twitter, the Everything app, is going to be so powerful. People are going to be spending all their time on Twitter X when it fully merges. They're going to be talking about it like you won't believe. This tweet is from Gretzka. Traditional bookmakers limit you. All right, so this was somebody complaining. This was a reply to somebody complaining that Polymarket is going live in the U.S. That was yesterday or the day before. It's just sports. Who cares about sports ball? I thought it was going to be exciting, innovative things like betting on elections and, will the mayor of Branson resign next week? Exciting things, interesting things, not just sports, right? Well, he says, hey, hold on. There's something else you're missing about this sport, any aspect of the betting here. He says, as a comment to that, he replied, traditional bookmakers limit you, telling you the maximum you can bet and other restrictions because they fear losing too much money. Sometimes they even ban accounts if you win too much. And this is the same with casino. You can't go and wipe them out. And DraftKings, I don't bet on sports, but I bet if your gematria sports effect and you've got the gematria numbers worked out, so you're picking the games at 70+% win ratio, they're going to kick you out, right? They don't like Zachary knowing the future of the games based on gematria, right? So he says this isn't the case with Polymarket. If you win, Polymarket doesn't lose anything. You can bet as much as there is liquidity, which could be up to, for example, 100 million. See the difference? So you're not betting against Polymarket. You're betting against everybody in the pool on that bet. That's pretty exciting. So there's Polymarket, the main one, and there's its competitor, Kalshi, and they've been paying a lot of crypto influencers last week or so to pump Kalshi. And this one just making fun of Polymarket versus Kalshi and organic versus monstrosity. Whatever's going on there. I don't know what's going on there, but it's a funny image. Funny meme. This is from Defiance. Most Polymarket traders think they'll hit moonshots with a few big trades. But the OGs make money grinding small edges across thousands of markets. Domer is one of the main guys who's been doing it actually since 2007, long before Polymarket. 77% of profits from 30% moves, 50% and Phantom, which I don't know those two, but I'm sure they're exceptional players in the space. 65% from 30% moves. It's not about the shiny bet, it's about the grind. So, yeah, I can see that. And as we get into it more, and as it opens up in the US, I'm going to get on and fully see how it works internally. I'm going to do small micro bets, but, Unusual whales. Breaking. Government shutdown projected to last up to 29 days. 54% chance per Polymarket. So you can see that the news is being shaped, the headline is being shaped already by Polymarket. The consensus, they're already asking you, don't Google it. Polymarket it. What's going on in Polymarket? That's what's really happening. Polymarket, of course, paired with X, as I said. So it's the Everything app X is shaping up to be the place where you get all your news, where you just spend all your time, because don't even get me started on how it relates to copper, because Memphis X has that big data warehouse, I think the largest data center in Memphis right there. So you got the copper involved in that, and you got the AI bots, AI agents coming online on Polymarket. This thing is going to be a madhouse. Lefty says, yeah, dude, Polymarket is so much doper than coins. I love trading a liquid dog shit and winning $30 betting on which color tie Ted Cruz is going to wear at his next fundraiser. And again, you're going to have silly bets. I'm going to do silly bets making fun of Branson and in favor of the people, making fun of our leaders. Like, which color tie is Ted Cruz going to wear? Who cares? But that's the point. It's all kinds of bets. It's a very serious bets and very silly bets. Tony, prediction arc. Polymarket is increasingly embedding itself into social culture. Today, to find the most accurate probability of an event occurring, you turn to Polymarket. Tomorrow, politicians running for office seeking to prove their commitment to their vision will turn to Polymarket. Likewise, journalists will use it to showcase their track records and predictions and analysis. Different reasons, same venue, Polymarket. Not just prediction markets. Crypto pop culture has dubbed them polymarkets, like Lego bricks shaping the future of a decentralized on-chain truth machine. Embrace futurarchy. Enter Polymarket. Futurarchy. Future. Embrace the future, right? It is the future, right? And that's the point. So now, the talking heads on TV, the Jim Cramers of the world, can be wrong almost 100% of the time. And that's the meme about Jim Cramer. If Jim Cramer says do something, do the opposite. He says buy, you sell. If he says sell, you say you buy, right? So there's no consequences for Jim Cramer being wrong all the time. But in Polymarket, there's consequences for being wrong. You'll lose your money, and there's rewards for being right. So it really, the talking heads get stepped up to another level. You've got a track record on Polymarket. Do you know what you're talking about? The anti-Jim Cramer is going to rise on Polymarket, and everybody's going to look to him as the guru because he has a success rate that matches Jim Cramer's failure rate, which is going to be hilarious, but also it's coming. Look for the anti-Jim Cramer. Polymarket analyst will soon be a legit job in government and corporate sectors, by the way, and he's quote tweeting one of the tweets I just read. I believe it. They're going to be monitoring Polymarket to see what's going on, what the consensus is, what the zeitgeist, what the people think. It's coming. The prediction, the future prediction market it's going to be wild. This was pretty funny. This was a guy. After a mentioned market speech ends, the fastest traders scoop up no shares on words that weren't said, locking in risk-free profits. Watch us grab nearly $100 instantly on call shift at the White House press secretary's speech ends. So Caroline Levitt gave a speech, and there's words she was going to say, I guess, and at the end of her speech, the words that she did not say, he was scooping them up to make instant profits, which I find hilarious. And somebody commented, the comments on this were where I really took it. Max Reynolds said, wow, this is real economic activity that is productive and results in the advancement of goods and services. And then the main guy himself came and said, how else would you know in real time whether a word was said or not, right? A very funny response. And then Ja Saul said, this is very interesting and degenerate. Where do I sign up? And I mean, that's just terrific. Now, this whole thing is going to produce memes for days. I mean, and then Route 2 Phi said, I'm excited to announce that I've started working with Polymarket. This feels like a natural step after years of participating in different forms of betting and speculation, odds betting, poker, forex, stocks, and now crypto. Polymarket has built a reputation as the leading platform for prediction markets, bringing a crypto-native approach to accessing and exchanging real-time information. Prediction markets themselves are becoming increasingly relevant. Can you smell the rise on CT already? Crypto Twitter, FinTwit, going wild. With adoption growing both inside and outside the crypto ecosystem, in my role as an ambassador, I'll be sharing more content, insights, and the most interesting markets and bets I come across. And I shared this because of the Pepe image, but it says, you're late. Mainstream news, Fox News, CNN, Wall Street Journal, whatever, and it says Polymarket called it. That's right. This is the news. Twitter is the news. X is the news. X in conjunction with Polymarket. This is going to tell you what's going to happen, and this is exciting and something to keep your eye on. And I'll be covering this more because this absolutely relates to the copper market in that this is all data. This is all AI. This is all the people using Twitter and X and these and algorithmic driven. This is all running through copper. The power source behind this is copper. So this is exciting news for copper, exciting news for investing, exciting news for talking heads. Are you sick of Jim Cramer? Well, the anti-Jim Cramer will soon be here. All right, until next time, guys.